What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fight Pit. You know how we do every single week, every single UFC card. We are here giving you our breakdowns, giving you our predictions, giving you our bet picks. Today, we are covering UFC Fight Night Emmett versus Murphy going down at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas on April 5th. Intro music.
I step in arenas, they call me the champ. They know what it is, know what I do, know who I am, who don't understand. Yeah, that's all we do.
What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us once again. It is your boys in the Fight Pit. Appreciate you for joining us. Welcome back to any of the returning subscribers. Welcome to anybody who is joining us in the Fight Pit for the first time. We appreciate you. Thank you for giving us a chance. We promise to make it worth your while, as always. We are covering every single fight card for every single UFC card that happens. Every single week, we got these episodes going up. We're going to give you our breakdowns, our predictions, give you any bet picks for any of you fellow degenerate gamblers out there. Let you know what we're betting on, and if you guys have any bets, any recommendations, anything that we might miss in this episode, feel free to let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. But before we get into it, as usual, I gotta check in with my boys because I would not be here if it wasn't for the boys in the Fight Pit. This is what it's about. It's about getting the boys in the Fight Pit together and just throwing down on some fights, baby. Today, moderating your boy Drew with High Fight IQ to my whichever it's going to be flipped, so I think it's that way. Right next door, we got the homie Matt Talks MMA. Matt, how you doing today, my man?
Doing great. I'm excited to break down this card for you guys.
Let's go. And holding it down downstairs, we have Sean of the Dead, Sean Ryan Sports. Sean, how goes it, my man?
Going pretty good. We're recording this the day before the big opening day for baseball. So comment your favorite team down below, or if you just don't give a shit about baseball. Either one, comment it down below.
Before we throw down on this week's UFC Fight Night card, we are going to throw a little recap review in for last week's Fight Night card, which was the UFC London Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady card. Pretty eventful card. Pretty awesome. Not a lot of surprises. There was pretty par for the course type of fights that we were expecting. Some good high points, some low points if you were betting some of the picks that I made specifically. But Sean, how'd you feel about that Edwards and Brady card? What were the highlights? Anything that stuck out to you?
I would definitely have to say that a highlight has to be Sean Brady. He took on the number one guy, a former champion, had 4 title fights, and just demolished him. Like, Bilal Muhammad made Leon Edwards look bad. Sean Brady times it by 5. Legitimately, he made it that much more impressive. He earns the number one spot, and it makes you think, is Shavkat really next after this, or now is Sean Brady and Shavkat something that we're about to see?
That's a good question. I don't think anybody after that Sean Brady performance would be too upset at him bumping the line at all. Matt, how did you feel about that card, my man?
It was definitely, besides the main event, I thought it was kind of lackluster. There was only 3 submissions in the whole card, no knockouts, all decisions. So it was, if your thing is knockouts, it was definitely not the most entertaining card for you. But the main event was pretty good. It was a masterclass from Sean Brady, and it definitely shows that there's levels to this game.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I was quite surprised because I was out doing some errands during that main event, and I had it on my phone. I was looking at it, keeping track of it while I was doing work, and I looked down at one point and I saw that Leon Edwards had 0 strikes, like the second round, I think. 0 strikes landed and 4 minutes, 57 seconds of control time for Sean Brady. I was like, dude, I don't know if someone hit a typo or if that's insane. That is insane. He got a takedown 3 seconds in and just kept him there the entire time. I can't recall the last time I've seen anyone who was a number one ranked fighter lands 0 strikes in an entire round without, the round, like there being a finish or a submission or something in it. That was insane. Got a shout out Kevin Holland, Big Mouth, coming through as my dog of the week. Never had a doubt. Carlos Ulberg getting it done against Jan Blachowicz. Somewhat controversial. There's a couple controversial scorecards going on. I picked Carlos Ulberg, so I wasn't mad at it. But the consensus online, I noticed there was a little bit of controversy going on. Sean, how about the rest of the card? Was there anything crazy that stood out to you? Anything that you saw as controversial, or was it pretty much what you expected?
Well, definitely not what I expected, because if we go back, if you do have the clip, put it here, of me saying that the prelims, 5 of the 7 prelims were all going to be finishes at least, and we got only one finish, and it was the woman fight, and all the men's fight did not went to decision, every single one of them in the prelims. So that was the worst take I have had possibly on the Fight Pit ever. Just want to put that out there. I will own that one. That was horrible by me, and I'm sorry I won't make that take again because I don't want to ruin another prelim.
I totally forgot about that. It happens sometimes, folks. That's just the fight game. Sometimes we sweep entire cards and look like geniuses. Other times we have just absolutely just the worst takes ever. Makes us look like we've never seen fighting before in our lives. That's just how it goes. That was
me that night.
But hey, I mean, as far as our picks, we did pretty good. There was some that, we could have went either way on, but that's how it goes. Matt, how about the rest of the card? Anything that jumped out to you on there as far as like controversies or anything that you were surprised by?
There was a couple pretty close fights that could have gone either way. One was the Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin. I think that definitely could have gone either way. Mick Parkin had some pretty good striking, and ultimately was probably the takedowns that the judges made it for Tybura.
That was one too. Yeah, that one definitely surprised me.
Tybura's a free agent too now.
Oh man, did he get dropped?
He's just a free agent. That's it. Like he fought all his fights, and they haven't offered him a contract. That's kind of weird because he's in the top 10, and it's like, what do you do? You gotta sign the guy back. Yeah. Unless you have some heavyweights ready to go.
They did that with Jairzinho Rosenstrike too. They cut him off after the Sergey Pavlovich loss, and he didn't even get finished. So I thought it was pretty crazy with what they're doing with the heavyweights.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that too. That's interesting. You would think that's not the one you want to be trying to, trim the fat on, and unless they have like, astronomical contracts that they just don't want to re-up, that, someone doesn't want to re-up for a lesser amount. I guess I understand, but that's tough. Very, very difficult position to be a heavyweight in the UFC, because we'll talk about it coming up on this card too. So it's not only difficult for them, but difficult for us trying to fucking pick them. But all in all, solid card. Congratulations to Sean Brady. Very dominant performance. Excellent, excellent use of the stylistic matchup that we described in the last episode, being able to do what Bilal did to him, learning from the Bilal loss, and putting Leon Edwards on his back and just keeping him there, and ended up getting a submission, and that was very impressive. And again, Carlos Ulberg gonna be fighting, top of the tops. You beat Jan Blachowicz, you're not fighting no names anymore. You're fighting the upper echelon. So be looking for Carlos Ulberg to have one of those big name fights coming up here soon. And Kevin Holland getting back in the win column, thank goodness.
You think Kevin Holland needs to officially just stay at 170? Stop with the middleweight stuff. Just be at welterweight.
100%. I think very money motivated Kevin Holland is, so he'll kind of do anything. If UFC needs him, he'll jump in at 185, but if he wants to go for wins, he should stay at 170.
Absolutely. He does talk about how the weight cut being a little bit more effort that he has to put in, something that he doesn't really look forward to, not being able to just, roll off the couch and right into a fight and collect a paycheck. So I understand that, but especially with everything that he's gone through this last, few months and stuff with the Rampage beef and all that, and having to, try to pull it out of the fire against, Rainier de Ritter, and having some tough losses against Wonder Boy, people counting him out, saying that he's, lost his spark and lost his fire and not a championship caliber type fighter and all that. It was good to see him get back in the wing column. Although it was against Gunnar Nelson, who was essentially, on his way out too. So remains to be seen where he goes from here. But we love Kevin Holland. We want him to stick around. So
it's a win. That's the truth.
Absolutely. A win in the UFC is a win in the UFC. It doesn't matter.
He has more fights in the UFC than John Jones does. Did you know that?
I saw a graphic. Yep.
I saw that, and it said 2008 John Jones, and it shows like 24 fights or something, and it shows Kevin Holland 2018 when he came in, and it shows he has like 27. And I'm like, what? I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. I'm looking on ESPN. I'm like, holy shit, this is real. This is actually real. Wow.
It's crazy. Kevin Holland, please don't change. Maybe the jumping into fights at 185 on short notice, but other than that, please don't change. We absolutely love you. All right, everybody, we will get back into the action in one quick second, but first we got to give a shout out to our wonderful sponsor, Vivid Seats, online ticket marketplace where fans can buy and sell tickets to their favorite sporting events, music concerts, and more, empowering every fan to get to the live events that shape their most vivid moments and memories. Vivid Seats is committed to getting you to the events you love more easily and more often. Vivid Seats truly believes in the power of shared experiences to connect people and are relentless about finding ways to make your event discovery and ticket purchase easy, fun, and exciting. If you guys are purchasing tickets for anything, sporting events, music concerts, stuff like that, we've used Vivid Seats. We know plenty of people that have used Vivid Seats. There's millions of people around the world that have used them, and it's for good reason. It's a great spot to get tickets. Very, awesome selection. Buying tickets these days, you got to be careful. It's a lot of shady places out there. Vivid Seats is not one of them. We can guarantee you that. Over 1 million plus unique and in-demand events sold on Vivid Seats site. 19 million plus pump fans that have found their event tickets through Vivid Seats, and 140 million plus memory making tickets that have been sold on their site, with a 100% buyer guarantee designed to give you peace of mind, safe and secure transactions. Your private and personal information will remain private and personal, very important, and full service customer care, because you deserve hassle-free assistance from start to finish. So click the link in the description down below, and it will take you straight to the Vivid Seats website. You don't even have to type anything. You don't have to search anything. We got you. You just hit that link right down in the description. We do all the work for you. Start looking for them tickets. Proud partners of ESPN, Capital One, San Francisco 49ers, the Los Angeles Kings, Make-A-Wish, and the Fight Pit, baby. So thank you so much to Vivid Seats for sponsoring the Fight Pit. We appreciate ya. All right, next up on the docket, we're going to take a look at the prelim fighters to watch on this Fight Night Emmett versus Murphy card. Some solid fights going on. Starting off the night with Vanessa Demopoulos versus Talita Alenkar. Then Victor Henry versus Pedro Falcao. Loma Lukbunmi versus Estela Nunes. Reese McKee versus Daniel Frunza. Diana Belbita versus Dion Barbosa. Davey Grant versus Daniel Santos. Pretty sweet fight on that one. And then finishing off the prelim card with Ode Osborne versus Luis Gurul. right off the bat, I'm going to say I'm pretty excited for the Davy Grant versus Daniel Santos fight. Out of all these ones, I think that one's going to be a pretty sweet fight. I also think the first fight, Vanessa Demopoulos versus Talita Alenkar, not a bad fight. Not a bad fight to start the card off with. Solid. Not the most name value, of course, on a Fight Night prelim card, but I think there's going to be some solid ones on this one too. Matt, who do you like on this prelim card? Is there anything on this card that you might be betting, or any fight that you think stands out the most to you?
I'm not going to be betting on any of the prelim fights, but I'm looking forward to the O'Day Osborne versus Luis Garul fight. I think it's going to be a pretty entertaining flyweight matchup. Yeah,
O'Day Osborne. Somebody that has been making a name as of late, someone who's been on some big cards lately, namely the Sphere card. That was a big showing for him on that one. Sean, how do you like these prelims? Anything stand out to you?
I definitely like that it's mostly the lighter weight classes, like a couple bantamweights, flyweight fights, like Victor Henry versus Pedro Falcao. I think that's a fun fight. I don't know what the odds are on that, but regardless, I couldn't tell you who I'd be picking at the moment on that. I just think that's going to be a fun firefight, in my opinion. It definitely, and Falco is well-rounded all around, and honestly, both are. I just looked at Victor Henry's. He has 7 knockouts, 8 submissions, and you have 6 knockouts, 5 submissions. I'm like, this fight can go anywhere and be fun anywhere. So
true.
That's definitely, and it's the second fight of the night. That's definitely one I would be like, hey, if you go turn on TV early, try to get in there and watch that. Also, Reese McKee versus Daniel Frunza. Very much want to see that.
Yeah.
Daniel Frunza only having one fight in the UFC, but looks pretty promising. And Reese McKee, another tall Irish guy that could knock out anyone who, we all love it. We can't hate on it. So that's what I'm looking forward to right now.
Beautiful. I do agree. Right now, who is it? Bet Online. As of right now, Victor Henry sitting at a -155, Pedro Falco at a +135. So not too far off.
Yeah, I agree with that being close. If one of them was -200 or more, I would disagree and toss money the other way. Yeah.
Yep. I'm with you on that. Both of the biggest favorites on the card are female fighters on the prelim card. Fun fact. Loma Lukebunmi is a -550 against Estela Nunes, and Dion Barbosa is a -450 against Diana Belbita. So, interesting. Very interesting, Mr. Bond. I would, just in our experience, I would say probably bet on them to go to the distance and definitely stay away from the money lines, because those early female fights we just saw in the last one, man. Shauna Bannon got clocked, got put on her butt, and threw up a submission and got the submission win like 10-20 seconds later. So, all right, we are jumping into the main card, kicking it off. I'm going to throw it to Matt. He's going to let us know about Torrez Finney versus Robert Valentin.
Yes, we got Torrez Finney versus Robert Valentin. I'm honestly liking Torrez Finney in this one. I know he had to go through a lot to get to the UFC. He is the only person that has 3 wins in the Dana White Contender Series. He was rejected the first 2 times off of the wins. I would believe the last time Dana White told him that you would get decimated in the UFC, and it was pretty crazy watching that live. And now he's back. He's making his UFC debut, and I'm gonna have to go with him. I don't think. At first, I was thinking that Robert Valentin had a big reach advantage because he is 6'2" and Finney is only 5'8", but it's only a 1.5 inch reach advantage. So I'm gonna have to go with Torrez Finney. I think he's gonna get it done by knockout. He is also a heavy wrestler, and Robert Valentin is good in submissions, but if he finds himself on his back against Torrez Finney, he can definitely get ground and pounded, and I would say money line Torrez Finney. If you're feeling risky, I would put it under 2.5 rounds.
All right, up next, we are going to keep on rolling. We have Brad Tavares versus Gerald Meerschaert. We're going to throw it to Sean, and he's going to let us know how this one's going down.
Yeah, this fight is very weird because Brad Tavares is a pretty decent favorite, and I do not like that whatsoever. He's, if I am correct, he's coming off back-to-back losses, and obviously against very good opponents, being Xiangyang Park and Gregory Rodriguez. And 2 of his last 4 fights has been KOs, losses. 4 of his last 5 fights have been losses in general. And it's like, all right, so he's a heavy favorite. Who is he going against? He's going against Gerald Meerschaert. Well, let me just go over the stats real quick, and then I'll talk more about the fight itself. So Brad Tavares, 20 wins, 11 losses. He's 5 KOs. He's been KO'd 5 times, has 2 submissions, only been submitted once. That's really good against someone like Gerald Meerschaert that is insane with the submissions. Gerald Meerschaert, 6'1", 37 years old, has a 3-inch reach advantage. He is 37-18 and 18. Wow, that's a lot of fights. 6 KOs, 29 submissions. So of his 35 wins, 35 of his wins of his 37 are finishes. So if Gerald Meerschaert's going to win this fight, he's going to most likely find a finish. But he's also going against a guy that doesn't really get finished often either. So this is a weird one altogether, any which way you want to bet it. Gerald Meerschaert has been KO'd 4 times and submitted 9 times. So he plays a risky game on the ground. His last fight was against Reinier de Ridder. That's an honorable loss. So far, he's 2-0 with 2 submissions so far in the UFC. So right now, that's a good loss to have. And I do think that's a real stat, having a good loss versus a bad loss. So I'm not too upset with that one. And before that, he won his previous 2. Yes, if you look back at his last 5, he's 2-3. But if you look at his last 3 fights, he's won 2 of the last 3. Gerald Meerschaert is definitely being overlooked in this fight. He has better submission game. His issue is his wrestling itself. He's more of a defensive wrestler than an offensive wrestler most of the time, unless the guy is significantly bad at wrestling. And Brad Tavares is an extremely good defensive wrestler. This is a fight I could really see just standing, going to the ground a little bit, getting picked back up, going back to the ground over and over for 3 rounds and being a decision. That's what I'm going to lean towards. That is actually going to be my bet, is just the fight going over 2.5 rounds, going the full distance. That's been my bet for this, because legitimately I think Gerald Meerschaert can try to keep going for takedowns consistently. And even if they don't land, we just saw Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev. Like, that's enough to win fights. And I think Gerald Meerschaert could win this fight as an underdog. Yeah, I'm going to lock it in. I'm going to say underdog, and you'll probably be my underdog of the week too. Will be Gerald Meerschaert here getting to win. But that is not my locked-in bet. My locked-in bet would be definitely going the distance.
All right, next one up, we are just going to throw it around the horn real quick because we're, of course, going to be all unanimous on this one. We have Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Martin Buday. All in favor of Kennedy Nzechukwu. Hands in the air.
It was actually my first fight I've seen live. Kennedy Nzechukwu. First fighter.
Boom. There it is. There it is. I said it on the last one. You always remember your first. Always remember your first, baby. I love it. Yeah, this one, Kennedy Nzechukwu, of course, number 15 in the division. Martin Buday at a plus 275. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to sway me to think that Martin Buday is going to get this one. Kennedy, very, very solid fighter, very heavy-handed striker. Do you guys have any specific thoughts on this fight? Any over-unders, any bets you want to throw out?
I will just say that Kennedy has looked incredible at heavyweight. It was a great move from light heavyweight to heavyweight. And I would definitely say under 2.5 rounds. You could say under 1.5, but Kennedy has gone the distance in heavyweight. So it's like, now we just saw Tybura this last fight night. So it's like, it's tough to just give that 1.5 under 1.5. So I'm going to say under 2.5 would be another pretty safe bet.
I'm with it. I'm riding. Matt, how do you like this one? Anything special?
I'm definitely going to put it under 2.5 rounds. I think that's a pretty safe bet.
Great call. So we're unanimous. Lock it in. Official pick, Kennedy and Nzechukwu under 2.5. All right, next one up. I am going to let you know about Cortavious Romious versus Chang-Ho. All right, we got Cortavious Romious at a 9-3 record with 2 KO wins, 5 submission wins, and 2 decision wins. He's 5-2 in his last 7, coming off of a unanimous decision loss against Gaston Bolaños November 9th of last year. Chang-Ho 10-1, 5 KO wins, 1 submission win, 4 decision wins, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off of a split decision win against Long Zhao June 22nd of last year. Now, in my research, in my homework for this one, the things that stand out to me about Cortavious Romious and Chang-Ho Lee in this fight is the main thing that stands out to me is that Cortavious Romious is sitting at a plus 150 underdog right now as far as the betting odds, and that really surprises me. Cortavious Romious, in the film study, I noticed he likes to push the pace. He has a very aggressive fighting style, throws very hard, has very solid grappling abilities, good scrambles on the ground too, not afraid to grapple grapplers, loves the kicks, loves the low kicks, loves the body kicks, loves the high kicks, and of course has much more UFC experience than Chang-Ho does. Chang-Ho, a road to UFC champion, coming in off of the fight against Long Zhao. It was a good, very tough fight, very evenly matched fight, went the distance. Chang-Ho was able to get the split decision, but it was definitely a war of attrition. Both of those guys they gave it everything they had in that one. It was a great showing, able to get the split decision on that one, but it was close. The things that I noticed about Chang-Ho Lee is that he does stay active, but he does stay safe. He does like to push the pace. He does like to take the center and kind of control the action, control the fighting area, but for the most part likes to be a reactive type of fighter. Takes the center of the cage, but mostly looking to capitalize on openings, mostly looking to react. If you come into aggressively, will change levels, go to a takedown. Very good at mixing the striking and grappling, very good at the level changes, very good at giving you a lot of different looks. And for the most part, I do believe, even though he does have 5 KOs and 1 sub as far as wins, as of late, I've noticed he's kind of been the fighter who likes to outcondition his opponents, keep the pressure on him, but not really throwing the hardest strikes that you've seen, as opposed to Cortavious Romious, who's just throwing home run shots on everything. This one, I'm actually going to take the underdog on this one. I'm going with Cortavious Romious, plus 150. I think that this could definitely be my, I think I'm going to make it my dog of the week. Cortavious Romious. I'm going to say that this one goes under 2.5 because I think that Romious is probably just going to overwhelm Chang-Ho Lee, even though Chang-Ho Lee doesn't really slow down a whole bunch, doesn't really get overwhelmed. I do think that Romious is going to be able to throw very hard strikes, push the pace against somebody who's used to owning the center of the cage, keep him on his back foot, put him up against the cage, keep him uncomfortable, keep him moving, try to tire him out, constantly throwing very hard shots, very hard calf kicks, very hard body kicks, mixing in head kicks, very hard punches. I think Cortavious Romious is going to learn from that last fight against Bolaños. I think he's going to put the pressure on early, and I think that Cortavious Romious is going to get the KO. So I'm going to say Romious Money line, I'm going to say under 2.5. And as far as the bet, I think under 2.5 is what I'm going to make the bet also. I'm not super confident in the finish. Both of these guys have gone to decisions in their last fight, but I just got a feeling about Romious. I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to look to make a statement in this one. So lock it in, Romious, baby.
Do you think Romious will try to put in a lot more grappling in this fight? I know he is the better grappler of the two. We haven't really seen anything of Lee's grappling up to this point.
That's true. Yeah, that is a good point. I do think it is possible. He does have the submission finish advantage in this one. I in most of the film study that I did, I noticed that a lot of his submissions came from the opponents being overwhelmed on the ground, either getting dropped or getting taken down. And he just, like I said, man, he throws everything into every punch and doesn't seem to really tire out from it, like gas out super quickly, which you would think would happen to somebody who's just throwing haymakers the whole time. But a lot of his submission wins, I noticed, come from just him being in a dominant position and just raining down strikes so much that people, kind of shell up, they turn over, they give up their back, and he's able to lock it in when they least expect it. I definitely think it could be a submission. Yeah, if he gets the dominant position on the ground and he just starts landing hard, I could see him going for a sub. Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, I was thinking if Lee doesn't get like a first round knockout, basically, I think it could be rounds 2 and 3 going to Romious pretty easily, and could be a decision. But a submission could be out there, a TKO could be out there.
Yep. I would not be surprised at all. I'm gonna stick with the under 2.5, but I really like Romious as the underdog on this one. The plus 150, I'm definitely taking that straight up. All right, with that, we have made it to the co-main event of the evening. We have Pat Sabatini against Joanderson Brito. I'm going to hit the specs and then we'll get our picks real quick. Pat Sabatini at a 19-5 record, 2 KOs, 12 submissions, 5 decision wins, 4-2 in his last 6, coming off of a submission win over Jonathan Pierce. Joanderson Brito, 17-4-1 with 8 KO wins, 7 submission wins, and 2 decision wins. 5-1 in his last 6 fights, coming off of a split decision loss to William Gomes, September 8th of 2024. Matt, I'll let Matt start us off on this one. Matt, go ahead and kick it off. Who you got this? You got this co-main event.
I'm gonna have to go with Brito. I think that he has really good leg kicks. Although he did lose his last fight, he just let William Gomes get the first round. He got out-grappled a little bit, and he'll probably bounce back better in this fight. He also does have the power advantage, as well as Pat Sabatini has been knocked out in 2 of his last 4 fights. And Brito is a really hard hitter, so I think money line Brito would be a safe pick. But again, if you're feeling risky, you can put that under 2.5 as well.
Great call. Sean, how do you see this one going?
If it wasn't for Pat being knocked out 2 of his last 4 fights, I would go with Pat because of his grappling. He could stay in your face, he could get you to the ground and get submissions left, right, and center. But the thing is, he's gone up against a guy that's been his weakness in the last 4 fights. Someone that can hit hard and hit accurately. And I think this could easily be the same situation, but I would not be surprised if he doesn't get clipped and he does start getting a takedown, looking for submissions. So this could be an underdog night altogether, but I'm going to go with the favorite here, and I'm going to go with Brito.
I'm going to have to agree with you guys, too. The main points that I see in this fight, Pat Sabatini is absolutely going to be hunting for the submission in this one. He does have good basic striking, but it's mainly a grappler style striking where it's solid basics, solid technique, but it's a striking that's more oriented towards getting in close and being able to get a takedown and start working for that submission. Pat Sabatini not really looking to knock people out right off the bat on the feet. And I'm saying, good basic striking, compared to, everyone else in the UFC. Absolutely better than me. The one thing that is his saving grace, I think, in this one too, is that he has shown he is able to work out of bad positions. He showed it in one of his previous fights against Jamal Emmers. Got hurt, got mounted, and was able to work his way back out of it, get the submission. He is capable of, getting put in a bad position and finding his opening, working his way out of it, and being able to come out with the win. Joanderson Brito, though, the first thing that I put down in my notes on this one, wild man. He is a wild man. Very aggressive striker, constantly pushing the pace, equally aggressive with the submissions, and, quote, throws hard as fuck. Throws so damn hard in everything he does. One detriment to it is that he could throw hard enough that missing would put him out of position, enable for Pat Sabatini to secure a takedown off of it, which, could be detrimental, could lead to a submission. But I'm going to have to go with Joanderson Brito also. I'm going to say it's going under. I think he's going to come out like the wild man that he is. He's going to be throwing hard as hell, and I see him connecting before Sabatini is able to lock in a dominant position. So we are locked in, unanimous. Joanderson Brito at a -240 official pick. And we have made it to the main event of the evening. We have Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. I'm very excited about this one, dude. It's been a while since we saw Josh Emmett. It's been too long. Josh Emmett at a 19-4 record with 7 KO wins, 2 submission wins, 10 decision wins, 4-2 in his last 6, coming off of the Bryce Mitchell KO, December 16th, 2023. Love it. Lerone Murphy at a 15-0-1 record with 7 KO wins, 8 decision wins. He's riding a 7-fight win streak, and aside from 1 draw, is undefeated in 16 fights, unbeaten in all 16 fights. Coming off of a unanimous decision win over Dan Ige, October 26th of last year. We'll take it back the other way. I'll kick us off on this one. The main bullet points I got on this one: Lerone Murphy has a 3 to 4 inch, depending on what website you're looking at, 3 to 4 inch height advantage, 3 to 4 inch reach advantage. Not looking good for Josh Emmett on that one. That's big. That could weigh heavily. With Lerone Murphy, the things that I noticed, film study, not the strongest defensive grappler. Very solid offensive grappler, not the strongest. He gets taken down a lot. He is able to work his way back up a lot of the times, but he does get taken down a lot. Very solid boxing technique. He's a good counter striker, has good lower body kicks, calf kicks, and leg kicks to the outside leg, inside leg, uses the leg kicks very well. Good striking from top position when he does get things to the ground and he is on top. He doesn't always like to jump into the guard and do work from there, but he will stay standing on top of you and land strikes. He's long enough to hit you in the face when you're on your back and he's still standing. The things that I think on this one that he needs to do is try to keep that distance, keep that range. And I think on this one, he's just going to have to try to win it on points, because for Josh Emmett, the first note that I have, in my opinion, the scariest puncher in the division. I think that this dude is capable of putting anybody out at any time. Even though he's 40 years old, he still moves like a 30-year-old, still very spry, still very agile, great footwork, distance management, all that stuff. A lot of the stuff you would expect a 40-year-old to slow down on, Josh Emmett hasn't quite got there yet. Hopefully, we'll see in this one. He does have a team. He's with Team Alpha Male, and those are all wrestlers. Those are all guys that have very solid wrestling pedigrees. Josh Emmett does change levels well, mixes the punches and the kicks well, moves forward even if he's down on the cards. Even if he's losing, he's still moving forward and pushing the pace. And like I said, just can put anybody's lights out at any time, at any weight, any time of day, any day of the week, any season, any planet, any universe. he's knocking people out. I'm going to kick us off. I'm going to go underdog. I'm going to say Josh Emmett on this one. I think plus 220 is tempting. Like I said, 40 years old. It's risky. But I'm going out on a limb. I'm going to say Josh Emmett gets this one. Sean, tell us how you got this one going.
I really like Josh Emmett, but the thing is, like, Lerone Murphy, the difference between like his grappling and like he has no submissions while Bryce Mitchell has submissions, whatnot. Like Lerone Murphy, he'll use his grappling just if he absolutely needs to. He's not looking to get submissions. He is a very clean striker. You could compare his type of fighting a lot to the former British champion that we just saw fight, Leon Edwards. You can see a lot of the same similarities, the long, lengthy tap style kicks, a lot of jabs, stay range, stay distance, use grappling when necessary or needed, and just to win rounds and steal rounds. That's what I think Lerone Murphy will do. But Josh Emmett has the best equalizer in that division, without a doubt. Definitely with Ilya changing his name and going to a different division, like, so you can maybe now say that Ilya doesn't have the greatest power at that division because he's not there. So the safer bet is going Lerone Murphy and going by decision. I do not see Lerone Murphy finishing Josh Emmett by any means. I don't. But do I think it could be like a 4-1, 49-46 Lerone Murphy, or it could be a second round KO for Josh Emmett? Yes. So basically, if you think Josh Emmett's going to win this fight, pick under like 2.5 or under 3.5. If you think Lerone Murphy's going to win, you could pick by decision. My safe bet, I'm going to go with Lerone Murphy, and I'm going to go by decision. If I had to guess, I would probably say 49-46. I think Josh Emmett might hurt him or just hit him more and make him stay back a little bit in one round, but that'll be about it.
That is so funny. That's exactly what I was thinking too when I was watching him. He is a featherweight Leon Edwards. The same frame, same style, same build, everything. Beautiful, beautiful. Matt, close us out, brother. How you see this one going?
I'm going to have to agree with Sean here. There's either one of two ways that this fight goes out. It's either Lerone Murphy gets a decision, keeps the jab in his face the whole time, striking at range, or Josh Emmett hits him with that right hand that he constantly throws. And the safe bet is going to be Lerone Murphy. I would like Josh Emmett to win, but unfortunately, I think 40 years old, it's kind of hard to pick him. So I'm going to go with Lerone Murphy by decision.
Totally understand. I don't blame you guys at all. Like I said, I'm impulsive. I go out on limbs like that too. I 100% think that the smart money, I think that Lerone Murphy being a minus 260 is absolutely justified. I'm not mad at it at all. But we're not unanimous on that one, so not an official pick. Somebody is losing. Someone's taking an L on that one. All right. I am going to kick it on down to Sean. He is going to lead the way for this edition of the Fight Pit UFC Trivia. Sean, take it away.
All right, so this one is the trickier of the two, but neither of these are that hard. So this is both of these will end up being UFC top 10s. So you're going to just give me what you got. The first one is the most significant strikes landed. And I will give you, yeah, that's number one. Yeah, 3,457. But I will tell you one thing. There is 7 male, 3 female in the top 10 in UFC history. So you do got to think some female fighters.
So we're talking significant strikes landed all time, everything?
All time in UFC.
Ooh.
And Max Holloway's won at 3,457.
Good snipe right out of the gate, Matt. I'm going to say, dang, who did he take it from? Where's Nate Diaz on the list?
He's not in the top 10.
Oh, gosh. He was at one point. I know that much. What about Nick Diaz? Is he up there?
No.
Damn.
Number 2 is a former champion in the last 2 years.
Champion in the last 2 years. John Jones?
Nope. Former, so he's not a champion anymore.
Israel
Oh, former champ.
No, not Israel Adesanya. You're thinking the right weight class. You're
Sean
thinking
Strickland.
of the right. Sean Strickland is number 2 at 2,197. So he is 1,250 strikes behind Max Holloway.
Yeah.
Max has that on wraps.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I saw a off topic real quick. I saw a graphic once that said you could take away Max Holloway's first 10 fights and he'd still be number 1. It's insane.
I believe that 100%. And number 3 is your first female.
First female.
No.
Valentina?
She is not on here. 2 of the 3 girls have been champions at one point or another. And 2 of the girls are still fighting. One of them is not fighting anymore.
Is number 3 one of the champions?
It is not. It is an active fighter that has not been a champion.
What?
When I say this name, you're going to be like, really? But you're actually going to understand it too. She has that Nate Diaz styles where she just strikes, doesn't really go for takedowns, gets off the ground, and she just hits you with 1,000 shots. And she doesn't knock you out, but she just has that slap boxing style of fighting. She's older. I think she's in her upper 30s or even 40 years old. She's up there.
And she wasn't ever a champion?
Never a champion. She has fought multiple champions.
Does her name start with an A, Matt said?
Yes, it does.
Man, I don't know what her name is, but I know who you're talking about.
Has a little bit of an afro going on.
Yes, man.
Oh, Angela Hill.
Yes.
Angela Hill.
Yes.
With 2,122 significant strikes landed. When I saw this, I was like, I'm doing this list just because of Angela Hill. That is awesome. That is awesome. Number 4 is an OG, but he's still fighting. He's getting finished a lot more now, but he's an OG fighter.
Bobby Green,
King Green.
Dang, Matt is killing it.
1,873.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Is Demetrius Johnson on the list?
He is not.
Oh my gosh, how did I snipe Tony Ferguson and I haven't got a single one of these?
You're thinking the right weight class for a lot of these answers. Same as Tony Ferguson. A lot of them in that same weight class.
Dustin Poirier.
Number 8, 1,752.
Finally. How about
2 former lightweight champions? And they're 5 and 6.
BJ Penn.
No. But about the same period of time, maybe even a little later, one of them has been
Frankie
an answer
Edgar.
for Frankie Edgar. He's on every one of these damn questions. Frankie Edgar's number 6 with 1,801 a significant strikes landed. So we have
shout
number
out
5.
to the answer.
We still need number 5, and then we go 7, 9, and 10. Number 5 is a former lightweight champion. Still fights.
Rafael dos Anjos.
I was just about to
Yes,
say
we
that.
got him. 1,822, Rafael dos Anjos. Significant
Air
strikes
Knuckles,
landed.
Matt. Air Knuckles,
yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
Oh.
Number 7 is a former women's champion. Known for her striking. She does not fight in the UFC anymore.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Yep, Joanna is number 7 at 1,754 significant strikes landed. Number 8, we got Dustin Poirier. Number 9, I mean, he's a legend that has never won a belt. He's a fighter's favorite fighter. Everyone loves him. And he's fought at 155. He's fought at 170.
Cowboy Cerrone.
Donald Cerrone, number 9 at 1,748. And number 10
now.
is an active former women's champion. She has fought everyone. Everyone in. She has beaten Rose.
The chick that dropped her on her head. Jessica Andrade.
Jessica Andrade is number
Andrade.
10. 1,730 significant strikes landed.
Let's go. That was a good one. Good call.
Yeah.
Good
Yep.
call.
That one was a little tougher. This one should be easier. Next one, we're not changing it up too much. We're staying in the striking department. The most knockouts in UFC history. And let me check to see. There is no women on this list. I'm not very surprised with that at all.
Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis is number 1 at 15 knockouts.
Matt Brown.
Matt Brown is number 2 at 13 knockouts.
And then Cowboy Cerrone.
Donald Cerrone is tied, has a 5-way tie in 8th with 10 knockouts. Yeah, so you have from here on out, you have a 5-way tie in 3rd and a 5-way tie in 8th. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so you're going to have 11 and 10 knockouts. So you just got to think of people with 11 or 10 knockouts. So
Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier is in the 3rd, tied in 3rd with 11.
Justin Gaethje.
Justin Gaethje is not on this list, but a couple of Justin Gaethje's opponents are still on this list.
Eddie Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez didn't make this list. This is the only list he's not on at this point.
Dang.
Dude, the guy's a legend. He's almost on every list, though.
Edson Barboza.
Ooh, good.
No. Right weight class. There's a couple people in that weight class.
Okay,
so
we're thinking lightweights.
Yeah, I'll give you a hint on some of the lightweight guys. One of them just officially said not just officially, but after his last fight, he is now officially going to be lightweight from here on out. He's done with featherweight.
Michael Johnson.
No. Just fought for a title.
Just fought for a time.
Oh, Renato Moicano?
No. He was just fought for the featherweight title, and now he's officially going up to lightweight.
Oh, Max Holloway.
Max Holloway.
Max Holloway. Why did I think?
Also 11. And then someone else in that weight class. One that was on the other list, too. Fought at 155 and 170. Has fought Justin
Robbie
Gaethje.
Lawler.
Robbie Lawler is not on this list, but was on the other list. This fighter, he was 155, 170.
Bobby Green.
No. Also, a fighter's fighter.
Cerrone.
Donald Cerrone at 10 knockouts.
Oh,
all right. I'm going to go back up towards the top. One of the greatest champions of all time has the longest win streak of all time in UFC.
Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva with 11 knockouts. Some people will say this light heavyweight was the hardest puncher that ever walked the planet. Anthony Rumble Johnson. Rest in peace. All right, we got Dustin, we got Max. Another light heavyweight that went toe-to-toe with a busted knee with John Jones.
Oh, Thiago Santos.
Thiago Santos with 11 knockouts.
Damn.
All right, now we have
good call.
We have 3 heavyweights and 1 middleweight left, and they're all
Francis
10
Ngannou.
knockouts. Francis Ngannou. and a couple of his opponents that he's fought.
Alistair Overeem.
Steve?
Nope. I'm surprised neither of those two got the 10, but no. One just got 5 years.
Cain Velasquez.
Velasquez.
I met him at the mall. Like,
oh,
you did?
Here. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Dang. That's so cool.
Yeah. So Cain Velasquez in his biggest rivalry.
Junior Dos Santos.
Junior Dos Santos. So now we just have the middleweight. And he's actually known for one of the knockouts that happened to him is probably one of the most memorable knockouts in UFC history. But he has 10 knockouts himself. Very good shit talker.
Kevin Holland?
No.
Good shit talker. Oh, man. Is it Strickland again?
Nope. No. Think of a different country.
Paulo Costa.
Nope. We're going to think former champion also. A former champion.
Robert Whittaker.
We're getting close. Robert Whittaker was the interim champion when this guy was a champion.
Bisping?
Michael Bisping. Bisping with 10, and he's known for getting knocked out from Dan Henderson.
Air knuckles, Matt. We were on that.
Yeah. that was a little bit of a tricky list because you would think with all the knockouts, you would think like 6 or 7 of them were heavyweights, but only 4 of them were heavyweights, and the rest were like all over the place. So that was a
yeah. That was a good one. I wonder where Dan Henderson is on the list. Does it say?
I would have to. I just took screenshots of the top 10, so I could just flip back and forth easier. But I would assume he's not too far down. But he did also leave UFC too and come back.
Yeah.
So that could hurt that.
Great point.
And
I was also gonna say, yeah, true. I was also gonna say Rampage, but he kind of stopped knocking people out there towards the end.
Yeah. Chuck Liddell would have been a good answer too.
Oh, that's right.
Chuck Liddell has to be like an 8. He has to be.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up. We are going to throw the official picks out for you right now. Wow. And there you have it. There's our official picks, all of our bet picks, everything that we are throwing out there for this card. If you have any recommendations, like I said, anything that we might have missed, anything you're tailing, fading, let us know in the comments. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, every single week, we're going to be here, and we appreciate you joining us. If you liked this episode, hit subscribe. We would really appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us over on Instagram at the Fight Pit Podcast. You can find our bet picks. You can find our records for 2025. You can find all of our confirmed news going on, everything. We got it all over there for you on Instagram. So join us on over there. Appreciate you guys. Matt, Sean, always a pleasure. Love you guys. Any final thoughts? Any parting words?
Make sure to put all your bet picks down below.
Yeah, definitely. With some of these cards, we're not going to do as well. So if you have good reasonings, you want to explain in the comments, go for it. Leave a bunch of comments. We don't mind. Well, hey, we're still students to this too. We're not experts. We do hit at a good clip, but we're not perfect. Far from it.
Absolutely. We love the community aspect. We love having fun, chatting fights and chatting shit with you guys. So make sure you guys let us know how you're doing in the comments. We'd love to hear about it. Thank you everybody for joining us. Until the next one next week, that is a wrap. We will see you then. Peace.
Say that's all.